Hey, hello my friend. In this video, I want to show you how to hang art on a wall for a show, an exhibition, for your studio, for a client, for your home, doesn't matter. For whatever you need artwork on a wall, I'm going to show you how to do it super easy. I'm going to show you two ways. In the first way, we're going to measure the artwork, we're going to measure the wall, we're going to do it right 100% exactly what it needs to be. In the second way, which is at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to do it fast and quickly, particularly if you have a big show to hang, you don't have a whole lot of time, you need to do it fast, you may not have a whole lot of tools. I'm going to show you how to do it very efficiently, very fast, and I'm going to show you also some tips and tricks that I have learned from hanging, hundreds of shows as a curator as well, and it's going to be awesome. So don't go anywhere, you're going to love this video. My name is Sergio Gomez. I'm an artist, curator, gallery owner, author, and co-founder of the Art NXT Level program. And my goal with this channel is to make marketing and art business easy so that you can grow your art career, find new opportunities, sell more art, and spend more time creating in the studio. So if you like that, make sure you click on the subscribe button and click on the little bell so that you receive notifications of our future videos. All right, so in my career, I have hung, giant works of art like this one, installations and things like that. But most artists, what they need to know is how to do it for small works, or typical mid-size artwork that you can carry, handle yourself, put it on the wall, and how to do it easy. All you need, my friend, is just a few tools. So the first way, which I'm gonna show you, of course, you need a tape measure, you need a pencil, you need your nail and hook so you can put it on the wall, and of course you'll need a level to make sure everything looks amazing. So let's get started. All right, so let's talk about the first method, which is we're gonna do it really professionally, measuring everything to the inch, to the centimeter, whatever you use. So first of all, how high on the wall do you hang the art? I've seen exhibitions where the artwork is too low or too high, or there's no rhyme or reason in which artwork is hung. Well, typically galleries will use a 60-inch middle of the artwork. In other words, you mark a 60-inch on the wall and your artwork wants to be right in the center of that 60 inches. Why 60 inches? Well, it seems to be a good height average. The person is too tall or too short. It seems to have a good size. I particularly love 60 inches. That's what I've been using for most of my career, and I love it. Of course, there are exhibitions in which we do other things to be more playful with the exhibit, but typically, all shows will be on the 60-inch middle section. So the way you want to do this, once you have, assigned the space where you're going to hang the artwork, and this is how also we hang it in my own gallery at 33 Contemporary, is with your tape measure, you want to find where your 60-inch is at the wall. So I'm going to find my 60-inch, which is right here. So that's my 60-inch. I use a pencil, so it's easy later to erase it or to paint over it. I don't use a pen, always a pencil. And I usually mark the wall really light. I'm marking it a little stronger so you guys can see it from a distance. Once I have my 60-inch, then the next thing to do is to measure the artwork. So I have the artwork right here. I'm going to measure the artwork. So this one, the height is 24 inches. So if it's 24 and my 60-inch mark needs to be at the center of the artwork, so obviously half of 24 is 12. And here's another tip. Whenever my math is not the best, okay, what is half of a number? I just take my tape measure and fold it, and I put my finger at the actual height of the artwork, and that will give you right there what the half of the artwork should be, which in this case is exactly 12 inches, right? So that's a very easy way for those of you who do not like math, right? Which I'm one of those as well. All right, so once you have the size, so 12 inches will be right here, the middle of the artwork. So all I do is I put my tape measure right at the 12-inch mark. I take the top of my tape measure, and I actually use this to mark the top of the artwork, which is right there. Or, of course, you can do it with a pencil if you prefer to do that, but I like to save time the most I can. So particularly have a big show with 20, 40 pieces of art or more, things like this. This serves to me like a pencil as well. Once I have the top of the artwork, this is where it's going to go. So in other words, the top of this will match that mark on the wall. But I have to account that most artworks either will be hung with a wire or a tooth here, or some way there will be some hanging device that you need to account for. So then the next step is you need to measure the distance between the wire and the top of your artwork, right? So that you can adjust to that. So this one is exactly 3 inches and 3/4, so 3.75. So now all I have to do is just measure from my top mark 3.75. So right here, that's where I put the X. That's where my hook needs to go. Now something to note, which is super important, when you look at the hook, you want to make sure that the X is not at the point of the nail, but rather at the bottom of the hook, because the artwork is actually going to hang from the hook, not from the nail. So I need to line up the bottom of the hook to the X. In other words, the actual hole in the wall will be a little higher. Put that in. And now when I hang the artwork, it's perfectly at 60 inches in the center of the wall. So this is one method, like I said, works really, really well. I'm going to show you another method which goes super fast when you're doing quick exhibits and you need to kind of more like eyeball it, do it really fast. So all right, so for this method, and by the way, if you enjoy that first way, make sure that you click on the like of this video. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel, where I go over art business practices, marketing advice, and sometimes hanging practices as well for your art career. So check that out. Okay, this is another way in which, let's say there's 5 of us, we're hanging a big show, there might not be even enough tape measures for everybody, and you just gotta do it fast. You don't have a whole lot of time. This works wonderful. All you do is you need to get a stick, and any type of stick will do, as long as it's 60 inches at least. So what I do is I'll take my tape measure, and I will measure from the bottom of the stick 60 inches, which is right here. So here's my 60-inch mark. Put a line right here. So now I know that this will be my 60-inch mark. And I'm going to take this stick with me throughout the gallery. So if I need to hang a work of art, and I don't have a whole lot of time, and I need to hurry up, so I just put the stick right there. I'll take my artwork, take my pencil, and visually figured out where that half of the artwork is that matches, the half of that 60 inches. So this will be a more, like I said, this is more of an eyeball method, right? Do it fast, quick, but it still will look great. Because here's the reality, nobody's gonna walk around the show with a tape measure, making sure that every artwork is exactly in place. Most people will never know. Anyway, so I will go and look at my artwork, say, well, I think that looks pretty darn good in the center. Now I'm ready to take my pencil, put a little mark. That's the top of the artwork right there. Now all I gotta do is either measure with my tape measure the distance from the wire to the artwork, or again, because sometimes there's not a whole lot of time, I just take my pencil and I just measured using my pencil from the top of the artwork like so. See, I'm just hanging it right here. I put it right there. So this is the distance, the difference between the top of the artwork and the hanging device, the wire or whatever it is. Bring this without moving it right there, and boom, that's it. My hook will be exactly on that spot. And again, I'll do the same thing. I'll measure, make sure that the bottom of the hook goes right into the bottom of the line. Put my hook, take the painting, and voila, now move to the next artwork. And of course, once you have the whole show on hanging, what I would suggest the last thing you do is then you go with your level and check every artwork to make sure it's perfectly straight. I don't recommend it to do it as you hang each piece, because as you're hammering, the vibration on the wall will make some other pieces to start going crooked. So I would normally recommend that you do it at the very end, go through the entire show, and make sure all your pieces are perfectly straight. Now, another question that I didn't talk about is like, how much space do you give between artwork? Well, that's entirely up to you. It's depending on the show, depending what kind of feel you want to give, depending if if there are pieces that belong together that will have maybe less space versus other pieces which might need more space. I like to think about a specific measure, depends on how many pieces I have for an entire wall. And then also I need to keep in mind the visual weight of the piece. In other words, I can measure exact and have a specific measure I want between each piece. However, a larger work will attract more attention, and it can, if another smaller piece is too close, it will suck it right in. So a larger piece at a time, I will leave more space, and then the smaller pieces will have less space. Why? Because again, this giant work will visually command more and demand more space from the viewer. And typically a larger work, the viewer will see it from a distance, and a smaller work, the viewer will see it up close. So you don't want to put a big piece, small piece, big piece, small piece, because then the viewer will have to be going back and forth, or will just kind of stay a little bit farther out to see the larger pieces and not really notice the small nuances of beauty that may be in the smaller pieces. So you want to have a number, 2 or 3 smaller pieces together so that somebody's up close can look at this piece, and the next piece, and the next piece, and then encounter a larger work. And here's another tip. Here's another tip that I also like a lot when I'm hanging a big show. I always have a cart with me or something so that as I'm walking through the gallery, I have everything with me. They don't have to be up and down, or I put one of those belts, right? Handyman belts that have like big pockets, so I can put my nails, I can put my hammer, my level, my pencil, my tape measure, and as I'm walking, I have everything with me. Believe it or not, it's a lot of time wasted when you're looking for things that, you're hanging an artwork and you have the nails over there, you gotta go back and get the nails every time you put a new piece. So I like to think about how can we do this fast and well done. But wait, before you leave this video, if you are an artist who wants to grow your art career and wants to achieve greater success, make sure you check out the Art NXT Level program. You will find a link under this video. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the next video that we have recommended just for you.